All right, Young Turks here with Congressman Tim Ryan. Congressman Ryan, I think you're the congressman who's been on the Young Turks the most often. I think you have that distinction.
And maybe first. I was up there.
You certainly were among the first.
Yeah.
I don't remember who was Bill Pascrell or you, but you know what? We'll
Good
have
company.
We'll have the TYT historians look it up.
Yeah. Good company. Billy Pascarell's my man. I love him.
So Congressman Ryan's from Ohio. We're in Ohio. He's in enemy territory here, behind enemy lines. That's the way he rolls.
That's it.
And obviously a Democrat. So Congressman Ryan, what are you doing here? How are you taking these guys on? What's your take on this whole convention?
Getting the message out for Democrats, making sure that they know about Trump, how he's done his business dealings over the years. There's a lot of talk about communicating to white working class voters, for example, and I think talking about what he did in Atlantic City, with having waitresses, waiters, bartenders have to sue him for overtime pay, stiffing contractors, that stuff rolls downhill, and that means our workers don't get paid. Our guys in the building and construction trades don't get paid. And every one of those guys in Ohio had a contractor or somebody stiff one of their contractors and they didn't get paid. And that's Donald Trump. That's Donald Trump.
He says that that's being a savvy businessman, that a savvy businessman stiffs people. He declares bankruptcy. He says, I'm not going to pay my bills. I thought the whole Republican spiel was, you got a personal responsibility and you got to pay your bills.
They're throwing all the rules out the window this year, I guess. I mean, yeah, totally. To me, being a lot of the business people, I know it's about keeping your word. It's about meeting your contracts, meeting your obligations, even if it's tough. And a lot of times they get mad at the government or the red tape because it makes it harder for them to meet their obligations, but they meet them. That's what a good business person does. This guy skirts around that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we talk a lot about it on the show. 4-time loser. He declared bankruptcy 4 times. At some point, you begin to think that maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. So there's some chance of that. But now, look, the angle that he's using is he's anti-establishment. Hillary Clinton is the establishment. There is some validity to the fact that Hillary Clinton is an establishment candidate. So how do you fight back against that?
I think you talk about her record, what she stood for, I think her life's work, really, from way back in college and law school. It's hard to say, boy, you're really a cynical person trying to manipulate this. When you go back and say, well, she was walking in the Deep South, in college trying to register, people to vote or try to make sure that schools would take in, physically challenged people. That's somebody who cares. She gives a crap about other people, and that was her life's work, and we need to get that message out to try to push back against the Republican onslaught. Just like yesterday, I mean, it was like she should be in prison, she's responsible for this murder. It's like up above and beyond what should be proper protocol for a political convention.
Yeah, what do you make of it? I mean, he's thrown all the rules out, so now you're going to have to deal with this guy who's not conventional, doesn't play by the rules, and he'll put up the Benghazi mom there crying. She hasn't read the 9 reports, actually all done by Republicans saying Hillary Clinton didn't do it, but she says Hillary did do it, stoked on. How do you deal with that? It's something we've never seen before in politics.
Yeah, I mean, that was a heart-wrenching moment to have to watch. And as a father, and many of us have seen parents have to go through something like that, just gut-wrenching. And to think that Trump was in many ways exploiting that situation was pretty sad, and I think really speaks to him. And I don't know if there's anything you can say to respond to it other than this guy's an exploiter. I mean, he exploits workers, he exploits bankers, he exploits people that he can somehow feel like he can manipulate to benefit himself. In each one of those instances, whether it was in Atlantic City or New York or at this convention, he was exploiting someone's pain to try to benefit himself.
All right, one last question then. Right now, a poll came out today showing Hillary Clinton up by only 1. When you include Johnson and Stein, she's down by 1. And in Ohio, the numbers have not been great. Again, hanging right around a tie, a statistical tie. Given that she's running against Donald Trump, a deeply unappealing candidate, are you worried?
No. I feel pretty good, actually. We got 150 people on the ground here in Ohio. We're starting to really get the message out about Trump. Atlantic City being one, but also he talks a lot about China, Mexico. Well, the ties he gets are from China, he ships them back. Oh, the suits you get from Mexico and he ships them back into the United States. My guys are going to call BS on them. They're going to call BS. When they find all this out, I think we're going to be okay. And Hillary has, I think, a real proactive message on manufacturing, using renewable energy, for example, the 8,000 component parts to a windmill, the 500 bolts, the mile of rebar, the mile of concrete, the gear shifts, the hydraulics. That stuff we can manufacture in Cleveland, Youngstown, Akron, Pittsburgh. This is what we do. We have the supply chain to be able to do that. And so it's practical where people can really wrap their minds around it. Maybe we don't have the numbers in the auto industry that we used to have, but here's a new growing industry that if we do our policies right with global warming, we can really make it work. So I think those two things, contrasting with Trump, but also the affirmative message of what Hillary would do.
All right, Congressman Tim Ryan, thank you for being on the Young
Best,
Turks
man.
today.
You look good
Thank
after
you.
all
You
these
too.
years, all these battles.
I know, right? And we're still right here.
We're still here.